I am a Christian and I belong to the Assemblies of God Church. Ordinarily, building a house of God is something that we all do. I contributed monies in my local Assemblies of God branch to build our church. And it's created an environment for us to praise and worship our God. But I don't condone stealing in the name of God. And that is what has happened in the case of this National Cathedral. It is instructive that members of the Board of Trustees, some of the members of the Board of Trustees, have resigned, and they have called for a forensic audit of the National Cathedral. I'm not saying it. Members on the board believe that fraud has been perpetrated against the people of Ghana, and they are calling for a forensic audit. At the time this National Cathedral came up, it was somebody's personal commitment to God. And we are sure that public funds were not going to be used for the National Cathedral. Unfortunately, we hear that 300 and something million has gone into it. Where did those payments go? Were they justified? Who did they go to? These are all things that we have to unravel. And I think that that is the first thing we do before we even decide what to do with that huge pit. And so first, let's investigate and do a forensic audit. And if people have, illegally and unlawfully taking the monies of the people of Ghana, they must be made to refund those monies. And so that's the first thing I'll do with regards to the cathedral. Yeah, Titi Medase. Say, question I will say, no idea, may you know, will be bebre. Meso make us say, adia ye say a buying eba na a shasiye and impuntu juma will be bebre, it be a market and a school and a hospital. We will say a buying for bar na a chese omu drink say omu discussion credit no ebe call a binder than in chain. Into no more tregu na omu anka sa omu akoshe omu de ase. Na meka se nyame ya adom ne eba sika ye wo ye di behwe saa empuntunjuma ne bebre aka a che se ye twegu na ye di sika hyemu ne etimi ewie saa enjuma no asa ne ya hye ase ene foforo. Enti meka se district bia ye be inventory of all projects a che se aban aban ekọ ni na omoja egu ho. Na every year budget a yebe bia yebe yi sika egu nchen a eche se ye de be wie sen dwuma no nti 4 years a mewa ban mu a meye president no afibia ye de sika beto ho se ne be ya every district en dwuma ewo ho a eche se ye ja atun room no ye de sika no ebeto aso na ye wie asane a sha ase ne foforo because so ko be bibria classroom block ye wie Ubehunad assembly akase oh ye sha ase ne classroom block foforo anka sika ye wono yemfa nwie nia yenwie no ansa ne sha ase ene foforo enti ano me ne o ye adwen say abandoned projects e was here hwe na ye nia okaka ho ene taxes and levies ampa ohwe ade ba ko ama Ghana kane na ye say ye favorite destination for investment. And they say, na your taxes, ne levies, ever form kakra. And so I think so there, say, senya abayi ama your economy no, ashwe aseno. IMF programmer omuko mono. IMF a catcher omo say, yetwa yeje anasa revenue a ye nyano. I was see ye pager eco drew 24%. Kane near 15%. Taxes are almost there 2 years. A pager ya about 17 point something %. And so almost by 2028, I will see you drew 24%. In the chest say omunya ye, sa taxes now de gue so no. Enya endru pempenswa yebeka say omowie. Enti na now person omode VAT to electricity so. That was one of the reasons. And so, yes, a TU Simo, a Kutia, and by now, electricity bill be a VAT edaso. Young Kwani or mine are a wobia see henina, a chese yare, abba, echo, yeji a tour, efasa yare no, COVID levy. COVID aba ɛkɔ China baby COVID efrimpo yɛn gye ɔmo COVID levy nso Ghana nko ara yɛgye COVID levy nti saa nneɛma no wohwɛ emissions tax ɛne saa taxes ni na ɛyɛ to a aban ɛde to yɛ so as a result of IMF agreement a ɔmo ayɛ nti na obi ka sɛ oh me ba metwa ɛtoɔ no mu wo wɔ aban no mu sisi a sɛ wobɛtumi atwa toɔ no mu a hyɛ ase na twa namato ɛtoɔ no mba from ne ehu menka sɛ ɔmo ntoma miansa me ba saa ɛtoɔ yi me yie firi hɔ nti nea woka no ne nokorɛ no no one of the things I ɛbɛyɛ ne sɛ yɛbɛ streamline VAT because menti aseɛ sɛ wobɛkɔ edwom na nkurɔfoɔ mmiɛnsa ɛtɔn adeɛ baako ɛyɛ VAT 3%. Baako ne VAT ɛwɔ soro kakra baako nso VAT yɛ 21%. Meanwhile ɔmo nyinaa the same customers nti sɛ me ba wɔ hɔ na wobɛgye me VAT 21% a mɛkɔ nea ɔbɛgye me 3% no nti ɔsi yɛ streamlining so that traders ni nyinaa will pay the same rate in terms of value added tax. Afei nso wokɔ port hɔ a sɛnea wokae no Toyota Vitz ɛda no me ne gutafoɔ hyiaeɛ mefa an example of car bi a obiara import ɛna me kind levies and taxes ɛwɔ so about 23 levies and taxes sɛ woka sɛ duty ɛne saa nneɛma na ɛno yɛwɔ harmonized ECOWAS tariffs nti duty no wontumi nyɛ ho hwee but the problem ɛyɛ the levies and port charges ebi are illegal nti na me say yɛba we rationalize all those levies yɛn ni sɛ ɛwɔ hɔ no yɛbɛyi efiri hɔ sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a ɛbɛma toɔ no aba from kakra but the major thing ɛwɔ sɛ yɛn ne sɛ we have to stabilize the currency because ɛno yɛ affect bibiara one of the reasons nkurɔfoɔ esu ɛne sɛ this week wobɛkɔ na currency no yɛsi Bank of Ghana say currency no exchange rate ni yɛsɛ nti saa toɔ no ne yɛbɛgye wɔ port the next week wobɛkɔ na cedi efiri ebia 14 about 15 nti saa toɔ no a wobɛtua in cedis no na ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛkɔ soro nti one of the priorities of government will be to stabilize the currency and stabilize the economy sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a obiara aso bɛdwo no nti ɛm sɛ ɛmɔyɛ a mɛma no no universities what are we going to do about tertiary educational institutions? There are many challenges there. One of them is that students don't have enough hostels to live. And so they have to go for private hostels. And the private hostels are expensive. And so one of our objectives in our manifesto will be to accelerate the building of hostels. And we're going to do that with private sector. The universities have lands. And so we can engage the private sector to build hostels, and we and them will agree on the fees that should be charged in the hostels. The government alone cannot build all the hostels to accommodate the students. But there are Ghanaians who have investable funds that they can use to provide hostels. If you go to the universities today, what they'll take you through in terms of eligibility to build a hostel, they want to see your bank balance, they want to see this, they want to see, so many things. It makes it difficult for the private sector to come in. But if we apportion some land in every university and say people who want to invest in hostels should apply, we'll go through the criteria fairly and transparently and allocate the lands for them to build so that our students can get accommodation. That will be one way of doing it. Aside from that, we'll uncap the GET fund. This government has capped the GET fund. And so any money that exceeds a certain statutory threshold goes into the consolidated fund. And so the GET fund is not receiving enough money. Apart from that, 60% of the GET fund has been collateralized with the Dachi bond. And so only 40% of a capped GET fund is available to continue projects. And so we'll uncap it and we'll liquefy the GET fund so that it's able to continue to do the work it's doing. To ease the pressure on students, we will enhance the student loan scheme. Recently, I heard the administrator of the student loan scheme say there's a 50 million Ghana cedis funding gap. And so they are not able to accommodate all the students in terms of the loans that they give. And so government must enhance the loan scheme so that the quantum is enough to be able to take the students through, but is also able to cover as many students who need that support as possible. And so those are some of the things we'll do for